Today I'm doing my Exceptional Learners lesson plan. This is for 4th or 5th grade students. My essential question is, who was Anne Frank? There is 10 students in my class, 6 girls, 4 boys. 2 are gifted students, 6 are lower level readers, 5 with IEPs, 7 ADD or ADHD. They're upper middle class, available to technology, they're very mature. There's 4 visual learners and 4 kinesthetic learners and 2 auditory learners. So the lesson for today is the focus of this lesson is learning about Anne Frank, her escape of persecution during World War II, and her life in captivity throughout the course of World War II. So prior to this lesson, the students have had a unit lesson about the causes and effects of World War II, an introduction into the Nazi Party and Hitler's reign of power, as well as a start on the concentration camps and Jewish persecution during this time period. Following this lesson, the students will be learning about the reconstruction of the United States and the other countries following World War II. The standards and objectives I have create and use a chronological sequence of related events to compare developments that happened at the same time, and use precise language and domain-specific vocabulary to inform about or explain the topic. So my first objective is, after reading Anne Frank, the Anne Frank House Authorized Graphic Biography, which is the book they'll be reading, the students will be able to create a chronological timeline of Anne Frank's life with 80% accuracy. And then my second objective is, following the activity, the students will be able to accurately write out facts about Anne Frank's diary using vocabulary with 85% accuracy. My academic language targets for this lesson is Holocaust, Nazis, Jewish, Aryan race, and punish. My differentiation for my case study student, she will be given all the same materials as the rest of the class. However, her materials will be adjusted to his or her IEP plan. All the activities will be formatted for her language, but she'll be encouraged to work on the English activities as well. Since the students will be focusing on fluency, instead of this student will be focusing on fluency instead of a search and find activity worksheet. She will be given the answer key worksheet and asked to read it to the aide in the room while the other students are working. The aide will time the student as she reads and will write down the assessment of his or her work of fluency. Then the student will go through and circle the important parts of the text on the answer key worksheet. If time allows, the student will also be asked to write vocabulary words from the story with their definition. Additional help will be provided for the student before or after school when needed, either by the aide in the classroom or the classroom teacher. The hands-on activity is, after they read the story, the students will create a poster or timeline of Anne Frank's life using the timeline worksheet as a guideline for dates and information. So this is the book that they will be reading. It's Anne Frank. And this one would be more fun for like 4th or 5th grade because this is not the diary. This is it's called the Anne Frank House Authorized Graphic Biography, and it is a biography of Anne Frank's life, and it's set up kind of like a comic strip. It has all the pictures and like dialogue and everything else that goes along with it, so it's more fun. It's more age appropriate for 4th or 5th grade than a diary of Anne Frank, which is kind of boring and can be kind of dry. So this would be the book they would read, and then I would get a copy of the Spanish version for the case study student, and this is the Spanish version of the book. And then when we'd get done reading the book, they would fill out this. This is a timeline of Anne Frank's life, and there's like spots where they can add things in, and there's like little things that they can insert their information into the blocks. But this is just used as like a template because what they'll be doing is putting it on a poster. They'll be taking this as like a framework, and then they'll be given a big thing of poster board, and they'll be put into groups of like maybe 3, and they'll make their own poster of Anne Frank's life based on the information on this sheet and anything they learned while reading the book or any additional information they come up with online or from a classmate. And then once they're done with that, they will start working on this writing activity worksheet, which is a summary of Anne Frank's diary, basically going over what it was. There's like blanks for them to fill in, and all these answers are in the book so that they can go through and find out the different words that go in each blank. And for my case study student, the differentiation for her, this is the answer key for the writing worksheet. So what I would have her do, like I said, is she'll go through and circle the important parts of the text in the answer key. So since they're all filled in, she would just go through and like the important words that we use in the book are the important things that we talked about in class, or the vocab words that would be pointed out. She would go through, and instead of having to fill in the blanks for this worksheet, she would just go ahead and have the answer key already and go through and circle the important words so that they're already there and she can recognize them instead of having to recognize them, identify them, and put them into a blank. It'd be a little bit easier to do this. And then if she had some time left over, she would then go ahead and read this summary to the aide in the room, and the aide would test her fluency then and record it. And then everyone would wrap up. They would start to discuss amongst each other what they learned about her life. The teacher will ask questions like, did you learn anything new today? What did you learn while you were in your groups? What did you learn about each other? What did you learn about Anne Frank? What influence did Anne Frank have on the Jewish community? What are some vocab words we use today? What was common words in our writing worksheet? Is Anne Frank considered to be a World War II hero to you? And they would give an explanation whether she would be considered a World War II hero to them or not. And where's her house located? Because we do a little research into that. And then if time allowed, we would watch a video afterwards that was the graphic novel that we read, except in a video form. I would show the whole thing in like a video form so that it would be a little bit easier for them to see, and that would help with my auditory learners and visual learners. Since I have 4 visual learners and 4 kinesthetic learners, they could hear and see it, and then my kinesthetic learners is more of like the creation of the timeline itself. And I would like, as a teacher, I'd keep a checklist of students learning to assess their knowledge, and I would wrap up by having the students write in words as part of a summary and vocabulary wrap up for the lesson, and they would turn in their writing, and me as the teacher, will tell them what the focus for tomorrow's lesson will be about, and that would be about the world reconstruction following World War II. And that is my lesson. Thank you.